First, as always, let's crack open the box and see what's inside. But no, let's have a look at this stunning artwork by Jason. Check out Jason's Facebook page. He is an amazing box artist for Takom and other manufacturers, I believe. What have we got? We've got the M3 Lee early. Takom released about 3 of these M3 Lees, various different versions, early, medium, late, etc., and also some specialized versions. But this one, we're looking at the early one, and we've got the depiction of a Lend-Lease M3 Lee used by Soviet Russia in the Second World War. It's got the slogans on, there's a Stalina, Pobedi, all that sort of stuff. Looks pretty cool. Got this is the scheme that's from the top of the box, Soviet Union unknown, and then we've got one from the United States, World War II, 1942. I love Takom boxes, just so great that they've got all the sprue layout, so you know what you're letting yourself in for, even before you buy the thing. Check it out in the store, you got all the bits laid out. As I said, review finish, we know what's in there. Pamphlet. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's bits and pieces in there. 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10, and 11. Oh, and I've got this as well. This is from RB Models. It's some turned aluminium barrels that will complement the model. Let's start as always with the rather small instruction pamphlet. Small means that this is going to be quite a quick little build. We've got the history of the vehicle, some information. I'll post that up in the description of the video so you can read that in your own time. Straight away we've got the schemes there. These are Takom's closely affiliated with Ammo of MiG that provided the colour profiles, and so the colour references are up to Ammo of MiG paints. However, you have got the descriptions. You've got rubber and tyres, you've got black, you've got silver, Russian green, etc., etc. So don't worry about that. And as always, if you're modelling as well, you may want to study your own references to find your own paint colours. Okay, we've got a duplicate which was basically on the outside of the box, which is the parts tree layout. Assembly of the lower hull. Don't think there's any options between these two versions as far as I can make out. Okay, let's point this out straight away. Right down here, we're getting some extra detail parts that come off of a sprue, so we'll look at that later on. They get it added on to these bogies. There's construction of tracks, as usual and typical for Takom, link and length tracks. By stage 7, most of the hulls are already completed. Some armour plates. No interior detail whatsoever. This is the main gun getting fitted inside the hull of the vehicle. Rather strange configuration. These rather top-heavy M3 Lees, predecessor to the Sherman, of course. Some detailed bits and pieces on the back deck. It's calling you out there to make some holes with your pin vise of varying diameters. 1.1mm. I don't think it's going to be 1.1mm. Various Pioneer tools and fittings go into the hull by stages 16. I believe right here we've got the photo etch parts, and we'll check. I think this is a jig here that we use to form that part D24, so we'll look at that on the sprues in just a minute. By stage 19 the build is complete. This looks really straightforward. And additionally, another 2 schemes here. let's see what they say here. These are the unknown training desert warfare and an unknown training unit. So were these used in action? I'm not too sure. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We've got the Russian one there with all the cool slogans on. That looks pretty sick, doesn't it? Just a point to note, don't want to be hypercritical. It's saying that it's painted in Russian green. No, they weren't. These were olive drab. They were shipped straight away from the US. Believe me, the Red Army did not have time to repaint these vehicles before putting them into battle. They just put the stars on them, and even if they did that, that's a matter of conjecture. Anyways, let's look at the parts. Okay, let's kick off by looking at these two duplicated sprues, which are mainly suspension components. I think we're going to have a look for that bit that had the bolts on as well. I can't remember which sprue it was on. Sprue F here contains the side panels of the upper hull. You can see all these very prominent raised bolts, which are a feature of these early war tanks. Proved to be a little bit detrimental because these bolts would actually, when they were hit by projectiles, these bolts would also impinge inside the vehicle like bullets within it. Here's a major sprue here. This is sprue D. I think this one's got the bolt detail on. Let's see if we can find that somewhere. Okay, maybe I'm mistaken. Anyways, we've got the upper hull with all this, again, this prominent bolt detail. And excellent feature here, we've got some of the casting marks that would be placed on the foundry parts. I love details like that. Here's the fenders. They are pretty thin. Of course, you're going to get a few knockout marks, etc. on the rear face. Not to worry about. Individual track links are here with a lot of detail. And here it looks like, I think this is part of the transmission cover. So this great, lovely cast texture on that component there. Looks really good. Here's some of the Pioneer tools. Well, a shovel. And this is the recovery wire, molded in plastic. I like that. If it's really well done and it's really fine, the eyelets, everything, it's just great. Tracks. Tracks are on one sprue, link and length, as we said. So we've got these nice long runs, then we've got intermediate runs, and then we've got single sections, which will make building this up a breeze. Of course, we have got a slight disadvantage for some in that if we place the tracks on completely, you may well have trouble painting it, but we'll address that. Got two duplicate sprues, sprue A, V, I don't know, whatever. Okay, so let's have a look at the detail on it, which is stunning. It's these drive sprockets, multifaceted, very detailed, bolt detail, and also the lighting holes as well. That looks really good. Road wheels, again, lots and lots of detail. There we are, there's the bolts right there. These are the ones that you will actually pair off with your craft knife and then glue onto some suspension components. These are the rubber shocks for the bogies and some twinklets. All this is very finely detailed, looks really good, sharp and tight, as do these, whatever they are. Two sprues, as I said, so we don't need to look at that one. And the sprue E, which is there's the transmission cover, some details that cover the sides of transmission cover. So they've done that in a couple of components. So you've got the bolts there. Nothing seems to be missing out. Again, we've got this cast texture on this component here, which I think is sort of the casemate for the gun, or the mantlet for the gun. We'll find out during the build what this is, but I think it's some sort of jig for the tracks, but I'm not too sure. Okay, here's the barrel. The barrel is in one piece, and it must have the muzzle part elsewhere that glues on. I think actually I found it. It could be one of these. Could be one of them. Not too sure. Not too sure. The final sprue to look at is J. And again, we've got more of this armour. There's that upper cupola. Let's see, it's got this one's smooth actually. I thought this would be textured, but you see, it's got the vision ports are actually molded integrally. Looks really good. Looks really tight. Got cast texture again on this with that smaller gun. The smaller gun's a 37mm. We've got the, I think it's a 30 cal. I'm not too sure. 30 cal machine gun that sits in the commander's cupola. Those are the sprues. Here are what I call the hero parts, the slide mode parts. We've got a one-piece lower hull, which obviously makes things like alignment very straightforward. And just note the stiffening ribs that they put inside here, which makes it, you know, it's a very tough component. It's not warped whatsoever. And this part, which is the finest part in the kit, has to be this turret, which has got again this cast texture on it. Looks really good. There's the I think that's, I can't remember if that's a shell ejector port or a pistol port. I think it's shell ejector. And again, we've got the casting marks rendered onto the piece. Looks really good. I'll take some detailed photographs to show you some of those parts. In terms of extra details, we've got one sprue transparencies for the lights. We've got a single photo etch sheet, which adds, again, I call it the correct amount of detail. There's a few very small, very fine parts there that could be a bit of a challenge to some people, myself included. And then we've got these the brush cards as well that need to be formed, and we'll see how we do that when we do the build. Here's the decal sheet with these are really colourful, huh? These markings here. I need to find out a little bit about these training vehicles that the US used. And then we've got the Soviet slogans, Soviet red stars. I really wish that the decals included some of that Lend-Lease type writing that they had on them, but they don't. Finally, we've got this, this is the details that we're going to use. Probably not necessary again, but you know, I've got them, so I'm going to use them. They're available from RB Models, and it's 35B74 one is the early 75mm and 37mm gun barrels, and these are, there's nothing really to say there. Single piece. They're very finely detailed for what they are, which are metal tubes. But they have got the correct taper. These should complement the build nicely. That rounds off the review. Well, that review, the review of the parts. Let's get on with building it right now.